We all enjoy a good morning muffin with our cup of coffee. Am I right? Yes, I'm right. From blueberry muffins to chocolate chip muffins to banana muffins to just plain wonderful chocolate muffins, we love them all. And today our recipe is for low-carb, sugar-free banana muffins. Yummy. Now, even if you don't like bananas, like me, I don't like them as I've said before, you will still like these muffins. They are yummy. Trust me. And if you want a printable version of this, then check out my website at janetsdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You'll find a printable version of this recipe along with other goodies for you. Also, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Also, hit the little notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time I put out a new video. And while you do that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Line or spray a 6-cup muffin pan. In a medium mixing bowl, whisk together 1/3 cup almond flour or gluten-free flour of your choice, 5 tablespoons of vital wheat gluten, 1 teaspoon tapioca starch or gluten-free flour of your choice, a 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon ground cinnamon, and a 1/2 cup granulated stevia or sweetener of your choice. Whisk these all together until they're fully combined and there's no lumps in the flour. Now the cinnamon is optional. You can put it in there, but if you don't care for the taste of cinnamon, you can keep it out. I love cinnamon, so whenever I make sweetbreads or muffins, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to throw in some cinnamon. If you want to make this a gluten-free version, then substitute the 5 tablespoons of vital wheat gluten and the 1 teaspoon of tapioca starch for another 1/3 cup of almond flour, and add a 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum. Again, as I always say, don't forget the xanthan gum. That is your binding agent. After you've whisked together all the dry ingredients, then in a large mixer bowl, whisk together 1/4 cup butter. Make sure it's softened. You don't want it completely melted, but you want it soft enough so that it will stir easily into your batter. I usually just pop it in the microwave for about 10 to 15 seconds, just enough to where it's just starting to melt but not completely liquid. So 1/4 cup softened butter and 1 large room temperature egg. Whisk these two together until they're fully combined and smooth. Add 2 small bananas. Make sure they're mashed completely where there's no big lumps in them. And whisk them together with the butter and eggs until they're fully combined and smooth. Add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients and beat on low for 30 seconds or until no dry ingredients remain in the bowl. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and beat on low for 1 to 2 minutes more or until fully combined. In all my videos that have dough or batter of some kind, I always tell you to beat it for at least 1 to 3 minutes, most of them. And that's just to fully activate the vital wheat gluten that you add. When you're using low carb or gluten-free flours and you do add gluten to it, the gluten needs a little help to be fully activated. So that's why you beat it a little longer than what you would with normal batter. If you're making this a gluten-free version, you only need to mix it together just until all the dry ingredients are wet. Spoon the batter into the prepared muffin cups and fill them about 2/3 way full. If you're making them gluten-free, you can actually fill them all the way up because, as I've said before in other videos, gluten-free recipes do not rise. So if you fill the muffin cup up all the way, it won't overflow, so don't worry about it overflowing if you're using gluten-free. But if you have the gluten in it, then only 2/3 way full because it will rise a little. Bake 25 to 30 minutes or until a tester comes out clean. If you're making this gluten-free, I would check it at 20 minutes because gluten-free recipes do not rise, and so most of the time they get done quicker than recipes that have gluten in them. So after you bake them, let them cool in the pan for about 5 minutes. Then place them on a wire rack to cool. Let them cool at least 5 minutes more before you eat them. Low-carb flours take a bit more to bind together after they've gotten out of the oven. So it's important to, when you're using low-carb flours or gluten-free flours, to make sure that you let them cool good before you just dive in and eat them. After it cools for a little bit, you can either eat it while it's warm, or you can let it cool completely and store them in an airtight container in the refrigerator. You can also, if you want to, make this into bigger batches and store them in the freezer. That way you can always have a muffin on hand. But if you do this, make sure you let it thaw out on the counter. Don't put it in the microwave to try to thaw it out. It will fall apart or just get chewy. So put it on the counter. It only takes a few minutes to thaw out. Once it's thawed, then if you want to, you can warm it in the microwave for a few seconds. Eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. Also hit the little notification bell. That way you can be notified every time I put out a new video. Leave me a comment if you like to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make without the use of white flour and white sugar. And as always, keep cooking.